ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ. Welcome to this segment of Coach Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day. The sabad for the day is another short composition of the fifth Nanak Guru Arjan in the rag Sorat. The recitation. Sorat Mahalla Panjava Parbraham Saaj Savaria e lahora Guru Ubaria Arant karo pit mata Parmesar ji ka data. I'll read the Rahau and the entire Shabad. Sab chitvani das tumhare Rakhe paij das apne ki Karj aap savare Rahau Mera prab paropkari Puran kal jin tari Nanak sarani aya Man chindaya phal paya. We can see that the theme of seeking sanctuary, of finding secure attachment with the self, is running through this progression of Shabads in Sorat. They're short, crisp, but pointing to the same idea. The idea being, Sab chitvan das tumhare, rakhe paij das apne ki, karj aap savare. The accomplishment, the fulfillment of our affairs. And here, there is only one thing that is pointed to in Gurbani, and that is to dissolve the ego into the larger self. So those that are engaged in that process are true devotees. They are the das. So Sub Chittavani das tumhare. So your servants dwell in this process. Noble are their thoughts. This thought is noble, to want to dissolve the ego, to expand it, to transform it. Rakhe paij das apne ki. Again, paij is dignity. And the dignity of being a human is possible only when it is completely integrated. Mind, body, the head and heart are fused together and not working at cross purposes, which is what happens with us, with those living in the ego. So noble is that pursuit of wanting to find refuge in the self. In other words, to be a fully integrated personality so that you can really be useful. That is a dignified life, a productive life. That's the Rahau. And then the Guru explains that in the first stanza. This is all connected, as you know. Parbraham Saaj Savaria. Saaj Savaria is to be shaped and adorned. Parbraham is the transcendent being. The transcendent being beyond the perception of the senses. It's not a physical thing. So it is that from which we are shaped. And lahora Guru Uvareya. Lahora means a fragile child, a small child. The reference is to the ego, which is like the frail small child. It is that which is saved by the Guru, by self-knowledge. When this small child recognizes what it really is, that is Ubareya, saving. And then what happens? Ananda karo pita mata. There is rejoicing of the father and mother. The father and the mother is a pointer to the self, the har. Tu mat pita, hum barik tere. Harji mata, harji pita. So the har, the self, rejoices when the ego recognizes its true identity. Parmeswar jiyan ka data. So the transcendent is the giver of life. And this is the recognition that we have to make. In conclusion, Mera Prabh Paropkari, this Prabh, this Har, is compassionate. Paropkar is to do good for somebody. So this self is forever benign, is what is being expressed here. By its very nature, if you recall, in the previous passage, we had talked about the bird. The nature of the self is to be paropkari, to be compassionate. And Puran Kal Jinitari, this Prabha self upholds and has in its possession all power and perfection. Puran Kal, Kal is power, majesty, Jinatari. So the reference is to the Prabh, Mera Prabh. Paropakari, Puran Kal Jinatari. The ever compassionate Prabh, who is all powerful. Nanak Sarani Aya, Manachindaya Phalapaya. So Nanak has sought sanctuary in this all powerful self, and that means surrendering the ego, in accepting life as it is presented to you, and accepting it without judgment. Manachindaya Phalapaya, that translates to fulfillment, because there is no judgment attached. Complete fulfillment. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.